Oh, welcome to the festive season. So it's the 1st of December. So the very first thing I want to do to you tribe is say Merry Christmas. So welcome to the Road to Runes on the Infinite Frequency. My name, as always, is L.E.O. Lothbrock. I am your host and guide through this journey. I'm just going to take a moment to welcome my gods into the room, which is Odin, Freya, Loki, and Thor. And you feel free to take a moment to welcome yours. And I'm going to use an oath throughout the month. There's going to be a reoccurring oath that we say daily. And at the beginning and end of the show, we are going to say, I will not count what's missing. I will honour what remains. I will walk through this winter awake. One more time. I will not count what's missing. I will honour what remains. I will walk through this winter awake. So welcome, daywalkers, creatures of the night, wanderers, warriors, and everybody else in between. I hope you're well. Now, this is an exciting, magical, wonderful time of the year. It's Christmas. The lights are going up. The shopping centres are getting busy. You know, people are buying their presents. Everybody's in a happy, joyous mood, and everybody's fine and there's no problems. Well, yeah, that's one side of it. And then there's the other side. There's the side of it where people like myself still struggle through this season, maybe for different reasons than before. But what I will say to you is I have been where some of you are right now, in that complete despair, dreading the month that's coming up, not knowing what you're going to do, where you're going to be, not even knowing if you can eat today, let alone Christmas Day. So I understand where you're coming from. And this month, I'm going to be in the studio every single day to help hopefully guide you through the hard times. I'm no master. I'm no sensei. I'm no genius. I'm not uneducated. All I can go by is my own personal experience, strength, and the hope that I have found within the multiple different programs that I have used over the 5 years. I am blessed to have a great fellowship. I'm blessed now to have lots of people that I can connect with. And now I will say to you guys out there, if you're saying, yeah, well, you're lucky, I don't have anyone. Well, you do. You have us here on the Infinite Frequency. We're not going anywhere. I know I have times out and I have breaks, and I've needed that. I've needed that through my own recovery journey, and may still need to going forward. And to sit here and say that I will be here every single day, some of you will be, it's a bold move. I just know myself now. I know what I can do. Yes, I push myself hard, really hard, because I don't want an easy life. I want a life where I learn, where I grow, and I evolve into the person I was always supposed to be. So, where should we begin? What is it we should look at first? You know, it's a time of year when the lights go up, adverts definitely get louder, and everyone pretends they're fine. And like I said, it's a strange season for me. And I'm going to struggle through this month as well. And I tell you why. I've quit smoking, and it's day 6 now. At the moment, I'm doing all right. I do get cravings coming along, but as soon as they come along, I'm pushing them straight out of my mind. My hands still look for something to do. They still look for something isn't there. My brain whispers, go on, just one. You want one. You know, and it's funny because I can hear it and see it very quickly now. And what I have found for me really working is when it comes up and I hear it and I think about it, I say out loud, thank you, but we don't engage in that behavior anymore. And I believe over time that helps readjust the system to the change that is coming, because I'm not so sure it's a relapse. I'm not so sure it's a craving. But that is the terminology that we use. And so I'm not going to try and debunk that, because that's not what I'm here for. What I'm here to do is to help you ease those things, to help you get them to ease back. And this is something that works for me. And it's almost, I think it's like the body's trying to give me what it thinks I want, what it thinks I need. And by me saying, no, we don't engage in that behavior out loud, it's teaching it, oh, hang on, what else can we offer him? Or what's the new routine? So I'm going to go through things and I'm going to try and guide you through. Now, just before I do, just to get myself and you guys into the festive spirit, I've got a very small royalty-free musical just to get us in the mood. It's a 55-second music interlude. So if you're not in the mood for the Christmas music, just pause me for a minute, for literally 1 minute, and then put it back, the sound back on. For the rest of you who are in the mood, here we go. And that was just a little music interlude of, obviously, the music Jingle Bells. Yeah, we wish you Merry Christmas, sorry. And it was just a royalty-free version, again, available on YouTube. If you look in there, there's absolutely loads of royalty-free music, but I hope that's got you in the mood. I've just put my Christmas lights on in the studio on my Christmas tree. Yes, I've got a Christmas tree in my studio because I want to have a different year. Now, even that kind of thing where I've decorated my tree, on the top of my tree, I've got a skull mask. And then the tree goes down as normal. It's got tinsel, it's got baubles, it's got a few different things hanging off the tree. But that's what works for me. Okay, and that's like recovery. It's whatever works for you. So, what are we looking at next? So, what I'd like to now talk about is the truth this month is not easy. There are smells that wake old memories. Mulled wine, tobacco smoke, some perfume from the years ago. They are invites you'll want to accept and can't. There are moments you'll feel like you're standing outside the window, watching everyone else live the life you once had. And that can be, it's isolating, it's horrible, it makes you feel unseen. As I'm talking, I can picture a scene in a film where the boy is looking through the Christmas window and seeing the families all enjoying themselves, and he's outside in the cold. And the sad truth is, this is the harsh reality some people face today. And it shouldn't be like that. And here's what I've learned. And maybe this is what tonight is really about. You can't build peace by avoiding the storm. You build peace by walking through it, steady, aware, alive. And it's not going to be easy, you know. So I'll talk about me, and just so you know that even for me, I'm 5 years in recovery, 3 years completely clean and sober. And this December, isn't it? It's not going to be easy. I won't be seeing my children again for another year. I'm not going to have a big family dinner waiting for me. I'm not going to have presents under the tree from everybody. And these things are part of the experience, part of the festive seasons. And I used to really get the ump and think about things I'm missing. And I stopped counting what I don't have. And that might sound crazy because, those things alone, a lot of people will understand. It's especially the children missing at that time of year, the most magical, wonderful time of the year. And for any parents out there that aren't with their children, it's horrible. But here's what I can do. Here's what I've learned to do over the last 3 years. I count what I do have. For the last couple of years, I'll be honest, it's been money, possibly a roof over my head, some Christmases. But now, today, I have a roof over my head. I have my breath. I have my recovery, my purpose, my beautiful Marnie Moo, my work, which, is you guys, my people out there listening right now, right here with me. It's 4:30 in the morning. I've woken up early. I can't help it. It's just the routine that I'm in now. I like to get in the studio before everybody's awake, and I like to do my work and start pushing forward. and then I can spend the rest of the day working on myself or on the next shows. So for me, all of that is a miracle already, because I couldn't ever imagine being here today. And I'll be honest with you, part of me is looking forward to the Christmas, only in that I'm fortunate enough to be in a property now of my own. And that is probably the most relaxing thing. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much, because there may be some of you out there listening that don't have that luxury. But it is definitely something you should think about now, about what, making it better. But even if you don't have those things, you can still be grateful for what you do have. And maybe that's what Christmas really is. It's not the gifts. It's not the noise. Maybe it's the quiet moment when you stop running and you realize you're still here. You're still here, still going on. You've survived every December before this one, and this time we're walking it together. So hopefully some of us will we'll be able to walk each other through the whole month and get through it all without any incidents. And for those of us that have incidents on the way, we'll be there to pick you up and to G you on and just to keep pushing you forward. And if you do fall in this month, let's try to make sure you get back up straight away. Falling is part of my recovery journey, and I'm blessed that I haven't fallen for 3 years now, and I don't believe I will fall again. Sorry, just having a fruit tea. So, as I say, we'll be walking this month together. I'm just going to, what should we do? So, yeah, here's how this month's going to go. Every day, we are going to face something different. There's going to be temptation. I will do an episode on that. There's going to be loneliness. I've got an episode I've done previously. I'll do another one on that. Faith. Faith for me is a huge one. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking actual faith. And forgiveness. This is the most imperative thing for this time of year. To forgive. Because that frees us from the trauma, from the mental prison is what I like to call it. And Christmas was always about forgiveness. We'll talk about the hard stuff, because pretending that stuff isn't there, it doesn't heal anything. And at the end of each night, with an oath, a small piece of truth to carry into the morning. And I'll leave you with a closing reflection. I'll try and give you an opening reflection. And just before we have a little musical break again, I just want to highlight that today's oath is simple. Again, I will not count what is missing. I will honour what remains. I will walk through the winter awake. And just for you guys, I'm now going to play another little musical interlude, and let's see how that goes. Okay, we've lost sound. Bear with me. I will be back in 1 sec. Oh, is it coming through now? Oh, okay, hang on 1 second. It's the volume. Look at that. Here we go. Oh, I can't lie. I absolutely love this time of year. I haven't for the last couple of years. I'm going to be honest. It's been very difficult for me. But I guess once having my own place and getting settled, that really has given me a new profound enjoyment at this time of year. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to get here. It's been a long, long journey, and it's taken time, it's taken work, it's taken effort more than anything, For me, I've only ever got what I put in. It's not about, initially I expected ease of process. I expected someone to come along and say a couple of words and it would all dissipate and everything would be lovely jubbly. And that's just not the real world. So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about temptation. And in order to do that, I need to get my notes up. Sorry, 1 second. Just sit right there and do not disappear. Okay, sorry, welcome back. I just had to find my notes. I don't know, I'd got a bit confused there. So, the next section we're going to go into is temptations. So, temptations are going to be everywhere this time of year. So, we already know that this time of year is because of the season, is drenched in triggers such as smells, sound, familiar faces, parties, the illusion that everybody's happy. And it is a sad state of affairs that happens at this time of year, that everybody just pretends that they're all right. And then what I've experienced, especially being on the streets, you see people's behaviour, you watch, because whilst everyone is busily pretending you're not there and passing you by, if you're like me, I got to sit there and for the last 3 years, watch, learn, and it helped teach me some of my behaviours. And what a blessing that is. Who'd have thought that, sitting on the side of the pavement with you, just observing, could be so powerful. And it is. As I say, do not be fooled. There are going to be temptations everywhere. If some of you don't see your families, and that can be difficult. So it's, for me, I'm choosing this month to go into town only in the mornings, not on the weekends. And that's not for any other reason than the busyness, because if I get flustered and it's too many people about, it can be overwhelming for me. And look, I'm not going to BS you and tell you that temptations suddenly vanish with sobriety. That's not the case. It does change shape. And I have 100% learned how to negotiate around these things. And when I say negotiate, I've just learned how to handle situations that used to baffle. You've got, you're going to have, if you're feeling tempted, that doesn't make you weak. You are going to feel temptations, especially through this month. Now, I do know that certain smells at this time of year have the ability to make me remember past habits. What I am fortunate enough to be able to do is, like I say, I use a practice, and instantly that first thought comes in, or the first point of me recognizing that thought's in there or on its way. Again, I say out loud to myself, thank you, we don't engage in that behavior anymore. And I can promise you, it might sound crazy, but just try it, because for me, it's been profound. It's helped me rewire my brain. It's helped me change habits. It's helped me move forward into a new way of living, a new way of negotiating with life itself, or navigating is probably a better, more suitable word. And as I say, if you are being tempted, it means you're human. Doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. I would really like to take this opportunity now to invite you to share your experiences. Feel free to message in and ask me questions if you're struggling. I'm going to now tell you about a couple of my incidences. Now, just be careful, because I'm trying to be really delicate and not cause you to have any of those things that we're talking about now. I will put disclaimer, actually. Well, there is a disclaimer at the beginning, but just be careful. So what I will say is that I think it was in the first year of recovery, or maybe second, but definitely within the first year, this time of year, and there was a particular smell that I was walking past a place of entertainment, we'll say. And as I was walking past, I got a smell of what I can only describe as, it was like apple infused alcohol. I won't say which name because, as I say, I don't want to push anybody's buttons. But for me, that smell, it just carried from where it was coming from. And for that moment, I can still remember it now. And that's what I mean. This stuff doesn't leave us. It's sitting there in the background, just waiting to take us down again. But that smell in that moment, I remember it. It had me in a panic. I was thinking about all the old habits and the routines. And I straight away, because I'd been good at this, and in the beginning, I always picked the phone up when I could in a good mood, because exactly like this, in times of need, it's imperative for me that I was able to pick the phone up straight away. And I did. I rang my sponsor. Now, what was hilarious is we're talking, I just got onto a bus, paid the couple of quid or whatever it was, went and sat down, and I'm talking to my sponsor, and we're getting through it, and I was talking about the things that what I felt was the trigger but the actions I took to remove myself from that environment absolutely helped me. Now, here's the problem when we're literally running from our problem, because that's how I look at that now. But at the time, that's what I had to do. But there's a bit of a funny ending to that story, because by the time I came off the phone to my sponsor, not forgetting, I didn't look at the bus number. I had no bloody idea where I was. I'd only been in the city that I was in for a short time. So I wouldn't have, even if I knew what bus number I got on, I wouldn't have known where it was going. And that then proceeded to take me about an hour to get back to my then temporary accommodation. So you can imagine by the time I got back, I'd lost my shit. So I managed not to give in to the temptation, but I then let it affect the rest of my mood, the rest of my day, and was just angry. Now, what I'm going to say to you is, unfortunately, during the early sobriety, for me, that was normal. I would much rather be able to not take that first drink or that substance, whatever it is you struggle with, rather than, and then going away and getting the over frustrated over other stuff, rather than taking it and then absolutely collapsing my life again. Remember, this is about all addictions, afflictions. It's not just, because you have to remember this time of year has the ability to tempt anybody with any kind of addiction or affliction. And think about it. That's because the food we eat, the celebrations, the things we like to engage in, and so this hopefully is going to help more than one group of people. It's going to help all of us, which ultimately you are a group of people, because for me, the recovery world is one big family. We may be sectioned off in different groups and whatever, but we're all trying to do the same thing, which is recover. So that's just one of the stories from my past. Christmas, I'll be honest, Christmas hasn't been a pleasant festive season for me for quite a few years. And part of that is, like I say, due to having alienated myself from my close family. And, my two mums have come back to me, which is awesome, but that's it. So I haven't enjoyed Christmas over the last few years. I have children that I don't see and haven't seen for a long time. Possibly, it's just, it can be a real difficult time, and it's going to be for me again this year. So you're not alone. We're always missing something, and it's for me, I find it really important. Again, I'm going to say it, to remember what we do have rather than what we don't. Christmas, when I was a kid, felt like the most magical, wonderful time of the year. But I do have tainted memories, of even as a kid being affected by afflictions and different addictions. And then there's the again, this is where that idea of everyone pretends to be happy comes from, because in the household, it wasn't like that. So, again, it looked like joy, but it was just escape dressed up in tinsel. And by that, I mean, every year, I from a young age, I started to engage in activities that would alienate me and isolate me from these activities. And that all comes from the addictions, afflictions, and traumas and all sorts. And it's horrible because as a kid, you have this wonderful memory of Christmas, and as we grow up, it comes and goes. I'm getting to the point now because I'm away from my addictions and I'm in recovery and I'm working really hard. Like I say, I am really looking forward to this year. So I'm now I hope that's helped a bit. I'm going to just phase myself out for a second, and I am going to play you another track. I hope you don't mind because I really do enjoy the festive songs and the festive time of year. And the fact that I can find these royalty-free Christmas musics is absolutely awesome. So let's have a look at the next instrumental. And here we go. Oh, how can you not enjoy the festive season music? I absolutely love it. Even just the instrumentals, it's absolutely awesome. So, right, let's keep going because we're on a serious show. But I hope the music isn't annoying anyone. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely bopping away like a nutcase when the music is playing. I hope you're doing the same because whilst we're talking about the seriousness of this nature, it's important to remember not to take yourself too seriously and allow yourself some enjoyment, even in the darkest moments. And I have always found that music for me is a way to break that. Just get out of your head a bit and and have some fun with it. So remember, we're going to talk about understanding temptations now. You see, for me, temptations isn't just about substances. Temptations is the voice that remembers who we were. And this is what I mean when I feel some thoughts coming along and I say out loud, thank you, but that's not the behaviour we engage in anymore. Because I believe it's the system trying to give us what it thinks we want, because that's what we've always done in those moments before. So naturally, how would it just be able to know, which is which? I do hope I'm making sense. And remember, I'm uneducated. This is all purely my own personal experience, strength and hope, and it's just for educational and entertainment purposes only. Now, the funny thing is as well, what I would say my triggers or my cravings or temptations are now, they're very different from what they were when I first started on this journey. Now, it's funny actually, I've just thought, literally, a thought has come into my head, cigarette time. I'm like, well, this is what I mean. Nope, thank you very much. We don't engage in that behaviour anymore. Now, I have no idea where that came from. That again, it's a side thing. I've been sitting here not thinking about it at all, and then somehow it pops into my head. So as you can see, the cravings, the temptations, the thoughts, the internal suggestions don't dissipate. At least for me, they haven't. It's just about I learn to manage them, and like I said, by doing what I do with that saying out loud, thank you, but we don't engage in that behaviour anymore. I truly believe it's helping my system to understand, okay, that's what we used to do. He doesn't want that anymore. Let's try and wait to see what happens. So my mind goes silent again for a while, those thoughts dissipate again. And I think it's like the body's just waiting to see what happens instead. So now I've said that I'm not doing that behaviour. I'm now picking up my fruit tea. And here's what we say. Thank you very much. This is the behaviour I'd like to do. Fruit tea. And for me, that works. It might not work for you. It might sound absolutely nuts. You might think I'm crazy. Who knows? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. For me, none of that really matters. All that matters is that I'm in recovery. I'm moving forward and I am able to serve on a daily basis. What a gift. What an absolute gift. So next part is do 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 do. There's a there's a psychological like there's a psychological side of it. The brain chasing dopamine and familiarity. Oh, that was a tough word to say. Yeah, so there is a psychological side, which is I realise now that my whole life was spent on survival and also adrenaline. I constantly craved excitement, chaos. And I guess that's just where I was comfortable and I didn't understand why. And so early in recovery, my brain obviously was trying to give me what it thought I wanted. That chaos, that rush, that party atmosphere. And it's not about that. For me anyway. Um, it's like, don't forget, temptations are going to be personal. For me, again, I found them very personal because it's more a memory. It's tied to a memory and a ritual. Remember, I use the term ritual only as another word for routine because I believe a routine becomes a ritual when it becomes second nature. And I think the second nature is what turns it into a craving, a temptation, or a trigger. It doesn't matter how we word it. And that's the words that we use at the moment in society. And so I will stick to those, but I will always give you the understanding of those definitions that I hold myself, which has got me to 3 years sober. And I didn't do anything. I didn't get me here. It was a combination of programs and most definitely my understanding of my higher power. You know, what triggers am I gonna have to look out for? So let's talk about that. So I'm quitting smoking, day 6. So what things do we think might set me off? I'll be honest. The light, the click, especially the old Zippos. You know, the sometimes just seeing smoke in the air, like that can be enough. Absolutely, drinking coffee will be something for me. That's why I've quit drinking coffee because my brain instantly associates it with smoking because that's what I've always done. So I've gone to drinking the fruit teas and I love it. And the other thing is as well, for me, smoking was always a way to calm myself down, to de-stress myself, if you like. So it's going to be a new path for me to learn. And what I will say is decorating my house, taking part in activities, those are the things that help distract me. And just remember, there are going to be people around you, because there was for me, that just won't understand. They'll say silly things like, come on, just one. It's Christmas. You'll be all right. What, really? You sure you can't? And that's how, and that kind of pressure cuts real deep. And I ended up, like I say, 3 years ago, ended up on my complete own, in complete isolation. And I see that now. It was a huge gift because it took away all of those complications. How does it feel? What can you expect in those moments? Well, for me, it was really powerful at first. It starts with waste of time, and I start having, now some people don't have internal dialogue, but I can only talk about me. And that internal dialogue would get stronger and stronger. And then if just trying to tempt me with whatever it wasn't working, the mind would take a brutal different approach. Well, no one cares about you anyway. No one gives a monkeys about your journey. You're wasting your time. You're not going to do it. What's the point? You're a waster. You've done nothing. You're a failure, blah, blah, blah. But those are the things you're going to expect, you might encounter. Those are the thoughts that can be crushing and crippling, and It's going to take time, patience, and consistency to get this done. Now, at this point, you notice I'm not telling you to use any programs or whatever. I'm just trying to give you basic tools to get you through one of the most difficult parts of the year for me that I found. You see, what I have today is something I never thought I'd get back. And I have a power to choose now. And you might not believe it, but that's yours again now. Because once you start this journey, even just listening to things like this show, it starts to set in seeds about what's possible. And you know what? If you're getting hopeful out there, good. If you're thinking, well, maybe, good. I am fortunate enough to have, come from absolute rock bottom, living on the streets by a canal, in huts, in abandoned buildings, just anywhere I could find safety. And I use that word so loosely because there's nothing safe about being out there on the streets in today's world. And yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But it's that power to choose, and you've got it again now. And just remember, every moment of resistance, it's rewiring the mind. It's changing the soul. It's doing all sorts. So I'm going to go into another music interlude for you now, and hopefully you're enjoying it. So if you want to grab a coffee, grab a coffee. If you want to grab a drink, whatever. If you want to take a moment out, and I'll just play this little Christmassy musical instrumental. And again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. And here we go. Welcome back. I really hope you enjoy these musical intervals. I absolutely love it. It really does give it a positive feeling. I hope it gives you time in between each section to relax, have a breathe, and just remember the reason we're doing this is not to be horrible to ourselves, not to punish ourselves. The opposite is so we can learn how to enjoy life again, how we can be part of society. And it's not an easy journey. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tell you about the last 6 days for me, because obviously I've quit smoking. Now, there is a reason that I quit smoking, a huge reason behind it, and it ultimately is down to health. I actually ended up with pneumonia. I ended up in hospital. It was quite a scary process, and I'm literally 2 tablets away from finishing my antibiotics. Again, that's something I've never done in my entire life. Finished a whole course of antibiotics. It's unheard of. And those are the things we get to do. We get to do things right. We get to listen to the advice given and make choices going forward. Now, I still had a choice when I came out of hospital. Now, the old me would have had a cigarette as soon as I came out of the hospital. The new me had no intention of doing it. I take this as an opportunity to now develop my recovery and push it further into an aspect of my life that has been with me since I was a very young child. So what's it been like? How have I dealt with things? So first of all, the first day was a lot easier because I'd just come out of hospital. I was still a bit groggy. The thoughts were there, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't the energy to engage in that activity. So what does happen is I do have thoughts, and over the first couple of days, second, third day sort of thing, the thoughts were hitting hard and regular. And I've told you one of the techniques I've used, which is about saying out loud that that I don't engage in that behaviour anymore. Thank you very much. But there are other things that I've had to do. One of the things, now this is going to sound a little bit crazy for some of you and not others. I went out and bought some toys. Yes, 45 years of age, and I went out and bought some toy cars, a playmat. I've extended it with my own Grand Prix track. And what I found was by submersing myself like I did as a child in complete imagination, for the 3 hours I played on the first day, there wasn't a single thought. There wasn't a moment where I wanted to take a break from playing. It was only once I stopped and I put it all away. And my brain said to me, well, you got nothing to do now. Let's have a cigarette. No, thank you. I don't engage in that behaviour. Yes, you do. Come on, let's have one. Only one. It's not going to hurt. And I'll be honest, it's not about, it's not saying I was going to give in, but definitely it makes you think, possibly, is that what you want? Is it not what you want? Oh, bless Marnie Moose, just getting comfortable in the studio. She wasn't too impressed with me when I woke up this morning to come into the studio, but ultimately she loves it. She's laying down on her bed now. Just had a little fidget. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So yeah, definitely cognitive behavioural therapy, they call that. I call it being a kid. I always used to play, and some of you won't be able to relate to that. There's things you can do, like some of you won't be able to. You've not got the environment, you haven't got the home, you haven't got the space, you haven't got the money for the toys. So then I implore you to find other things that you might be able to do, that you might enjoy. And my rituals with cigarettes started at an early age. First thing I always used to do was get up and have a cigarette in the morning. Don't know why, just literally wake up, in it goes. Coffees, every time I had a coffee, or when I used to be out drinking, I couldn't have I used to have one in one hand and then the alcohol in another hand. And it became like, to do one activity would trigger something else, or would mean that my behaviour would pick up where it left off, right? Normally when we do this, we add that to it. When we do this, we add, and it's almost like a false prayer. And it looked sacred, but all it was doing was taking from me. And it can disguise itself as comfort, like I said earlier, to relieve my stress, to calm down. It sounds like a warm blanket being put around you next to a fire, where you're warming your hands up. And when you look at it, it's quite the opposite. All it does is take from you. There was no comfort. It was an illusion of comfort. And I have to say, even in this short space, my tastes have changed. I mean, I did change everything when I come out of the hospital. I got all of my processed food that I had in the house, got rid of it, and I went and bought lots of healthy stuff. Now, I apologise to anyone out there who hasn't got a base, who hasn't got a home, who can't do that. I'm not here to rub anything in people's faces. I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly what it's like to be on the street. I'm not someone who's educated and has read it in a book. I'm someone that's lived it. I'm someone that's been attacked on the streets, had tents torn open. I've had stuff stolen, threatened multiple times, been in incidents. It's chaos on the street. But, I made it. So you can too. And I'm just hoping that this is going to make some stuff easier for people. And when I'm referring to the giving up smoking, and I'm using this as an example, it's because this is the freshest thing in my mind. And it's I had forgot what those thoughts were like, because my brain doesn't relate to alcohol in any way whatsoever anymore. Whereas in the beginning, everything I'm talking about, the triggers with the cigarettes, it was the same for me with anything else I've given up. The whole process, I'm seeing the patterns the same. The behavioural patterns the same. It's just a different substance, that's all. For me, I'm talking about for me. I'm hoping that some of you resonate, and if you do, absolutely awesome. If you don't, it's all right. And the being present, I'm able to be present, and that's huge. And I'm not going to lie, yes, there's frustration. my hands sometimes don't know what to do. Right now, I've literally just clamped them together because I kept fidgeting. And that fidgeting for me, I've recognised as a pattern. That's normally a sign where the thoughts are going to start coming. So a technique again that I use, I've put my fingers within each other and they're just sat now on my lap. And until that fidgeting dissipates, and then I will put my hands back and let them free again. But again, it's about recognizing patterns. It's about seeing what comes before, and it takes time. You're not going to see all of this straight away. Otherwise, if recovery was easy, everybody would be sober, wouldn't they? Or clean, or yeah. So please, again, do not be harsh on yourself. You are going to get frustrated. It is going to feel horrible at times. What I will say is every time I've managed to get past the craving for the cigarettes, and it's been the same for anything else in the past, once you start pulling together them tiny little wins, I'm not talking about days, I'm not talking about even hours, I'm talking about moments. It's in those tiny moments when you could choose to use and you don't, that victory, I can promise you, starts to feel incredible. And I started to say, oh, hang on a minute. If I can change, if I can do that, maybe I can, if I keep pushing forward, eventually that tiny little moment becomes an hour. That tiny little hour becomes half a day. That half a day becomes a day. And before you know it, you've got a few 24 hours under your belt consecutively. And that is really, really important. Now, I have to say that this time of year is going to amplify it again, because I do miss my children, because I do miss my family, because, you know, I'm going to go out and see everybody happy and having their family dues and God knows what. And I'm not jealous of any of that anymore. I've let my resentments and grudges go. Is it going to be difficult though? Yes. Is this time of year going to trigger that? Yes. When I walk past and I smell the Yule wine and see people laughing and joking, and I see the smoke from the clouds go through the smoke air. Of course, this time of year is going to be challenging. Like I say, one of the most important things, anything to keep your hands busy, you know, because anything you used to do, you use your hands to do it. And for me, it's about learning a different way. So when the thoughts come in, do something with your hands. That's what I do. Like I just said, before it comes in, I clamp them together, put them there, and just concentrate on something else. Oh, sorry. Ugh. Well, we are 5:15 in the morning. I'm loving life. And this will sound strange, I guess. Don't fight the craving. Watch it. Watch it like a wave. It always breaks. And so what I try to think of it like this. Imagine a surfer catching a wave, and you picture it. They're trying to get all the way down, and they're not concentrating on the wave. They're concentrating on getting through the wave, on their actions, on what they're doing. And sometimes they make it, sometimes they get wiped off the board. I feel that that's the same in with this. Like, you know, when I stopped trying to fight the cravings, I started to watch them and I started to see the waves. I started to see the patterns. You know, like I said a minute ago when I said my hands were getting fidgety, I know now what that means. That's my nervous system trying to tell me it's struggling. It doesn't know what else, you know, it's looking for its thoughts and what I might want, but it doesn't know what I want. So it's getting frustrated. So my hands start going. Then the thoughts start coming. If I don't stop those habits, but it takes time. And please don't think I'm lecturing you, or I think I'm better than you, or that I've got anything that you haven't got, or that you can't get, because that's not the case. It really isn't. I am just here to hopefully help as many of you as I can. So let's just play another Christmassy song, because I'm loving that part. It just gives me a bit of a break. I have a little dance in the studio. Hopefully you guys do the same. So here we go. I'm going to be quiet and let's sit back and enjoy. Oh, absolutely love it. Some of this stuff is amazing. Yeah, gotta love, love, love this time of year for the music. So let's go on to the next section. What are we going to talk about now? Sounded like the wrestler. So what do you want to talk about? Anyway, let's have a look. The truth about temptation. So temptation isn't evil. It's an invitation. It's, for me, I believe it's a test of who you've become, who we've become. You know, it's like the Norse Trail, standing before your own shadow. Have a look. It's about testing whether you have moved into the new frequency, the new version of you, or if you're still holding on to the old version in some ways. You know, like, my God, Odin, he sacrifices for wisdom. Discipline always comes from pain. Before hitting recovery, I didn't have routines, schedules, I didn't have goals, ambitions, dreams. And these things are important. And it was only through the pain that I've grown and I've been able to develop and understand how important these things are. And I've heard people, and I used to say this, oh, why is God tempting me? And I hear people blaming. And that's not what they're doing. If anything, they're revealing to us. They're revealing the behaviors that we should be looking at. And there's a difference for me about wanting relief and wanting freedom. And freedom is the freedom to choose, the freedom to walk away, the freedom to walk into a new life, into a new frequency. The world wants pleasure. The warrior seeks peace. I say today that I no longer have wants, because throughout my whole life, whenever I wanted something or I thought I did, either it would cause me carnage and chaos, or it just wouldn't come because it wasn't what I needed. Excuse me, sorry about the constant yawning, because it wasn't what I needed. And now I just live a life where I just try to accept things as they are and what comes along, because I'm seeking peace. You know, like, because when you're seeking just pleasure, instant gratification, that'll fade very quickly. And then I used to find that I was left with an empty, horrible feeling, wondering how I was there again and what on earth it was that made me choose that. And peace remains. Peace of mind, peace of body, peace of spirit. And within that peace is where I'm finding the best version of myself. It's the version of me that engages with society. It's the version of me that wants to help, that wants to be of service. So, believe it or not, I don't believe we have to fear temptations. We just have to recognize them, study them, and then not bow to them. Every time I don't light that cigarette, I feel like I light a torch inside of me instead. I'll be honest, I'm really happy that I've got to day 6. I'm a bit surprised, but now I have the belief and the desire to continue, and I have absolutely zero desire to actually go through with the cravings. And I think that's important as well. Hang on, I just need to drink water, sorry. Yeah, I do think that that's really important as well. Not fearing it. We just have to stop bowing to it. And then, as I say, not lighting or not engaging in that activity will be very, very rewarding for what has been for me every single time. So I implore you to look at your own triggers as teachers. Don't look at them as traps. If you see it and you think, oh, it's triggering me, note it, write it down. Where are you? What was it? Was it the environment? Was it the smells? Was it the atmosphere? Was it the energy? And this will take time. You're not going to bang it on the head straight away, hit on the nail on the head. You are going to, for me, it's going to take you some time. It did me. But that's how I started to find my way through the process. Yeah, so that's just start looking, examining, writing down is so crucially important for me. Yeah, so I find journaling crucially important. It helps. It definitely helped me get to where I am today. I'm going to wrap up soon because I am flaking, but it's all good. We've covered an awful lot this morning. I would love you guys to tell me if you could handle more shows or if you want just to keep it as it is. Don't forget, I will be going live soon. I'm just trying to not master my crafts, but just work on all aspects and make sure that I'm confident when I go live, as confident as I can be. There's never going to be that perfect moment. Don't wait for the perfect moment to do something, because there is no perfect moment. Just, I understand waiting for what you perceive to be the right time. For me, it's simple. If I'm tired, I rest. If I'm not, I work. So I just want to leave you with one other idea, which is the meditations. That has been a huge part of my journey and it's had a profound impact on me. Now, I was going to do a meditation with you this morning, but as I say, I'm a bit flaky. So what I will do is do some pre-recorded meditations and put them up for you guys, so that for anyone that is wanting to try it and isn't sure how to do it, I will guide you through it. And remember, it's not about sitting cross-legged and going hum. I mean, some people do it like that. Don't get me wrong. I do sit down and I do close my eyes and I do go deep into meditation, but everybody's meditation is going to be different. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed the show, the format, the music. Please comment, let me know. And just remember, this is what I said. I am a person whose recovery is littered with relapses. And some of us, unfortunately, will relapse over this period. But please, listen to the episode maybe a couple of times. Start writing down the temptations as you feel them, name them, face them. Because the warrior's path is not perfect. Our journey is going to be full of twists, turns, ups, downs. It's like being on a roller coaster that nobody has any idea of how to control. But eventually the roller coaster will start to slow down. I think tomorrow I'm going to do a show on loneliness again. I've done one in the past. I think this time of year is going to really bring it home for a lot of people. So I think it's really important that I do that. And why? Because temptation's twin is isolation. And together we will face both. Because once you give in to temptation, it moves into isolation. The isolation leads to the loneliness. So I'm just trying to cover each thing as I believe it will come up. I can only go through what I went through. I can only come from that point of view. I can't pretend that I can help you, or that I not that I can't help you, but I can't pretend that I can do this for you or I have all the answers, because I simply don't have any answers. I just have suggestions that worked for me. So let's end with the ritual that we're using for today. And here we go. Stay strong, stay awake. You're not alone in this cold. We walk through the fire together. Again, I just want to absolutely thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. The response I get every time I come back on air is absolutely phenomenal. I'm very, very proud, and you guys should be too. This journey that we're all on is an epic one, and one I'm really, really enjoying. So I'm now going to put on another instrumental And I'm going to leave you with, I think, a bit of this one. This is a bit of me. Okay, enjoy. Thank you very, very much for tuning in to The Road to Runes on the Infinite Frequency. Remember, you are not alone. We are here. We can walk this journey together. This is not going to be an easy time of year for some of us, but I am here. And if you need any help, if you need any guidance, if you need any numbers, if wherever you are in the world, I have a tribe across the globe. So believe me, if you need help, I can try and get it to you, but you have to be willing to put the work in. What I learned for myself is no one was going to save me. No one was going to come along and pick me up and put me where I needed to be. I had to put myself out there. I had to be brave enough and strong enough. And now I've laid down the path before me or before you, and I am happy to help everybody along the way. Please engage. Please leave comments. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank one of my followers who's been here from the beginning. I thank you all who's been here. Gypsy Warrior, I thank you for your words of encouragement in my times of need and in my times of questioning myself, because it may seem like I'm confident and I know everything, and I don't. I know nothing. And sometimes I question myself and my own journey. So, daywalkers, creatures of the night, I just want to say, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we will be back tomorrow. Until then, I will leave you in peace. My daywalkers, creatures of the night, warriors, wanderers, and everybody else in between. May my gods and your gods be with you today, and may they smile upon you. Skull.